Welcome back, LEGO builders and Minecrafters. I did some building off camera. But before we jump into all of the stuff that I did over the Christmas break, there is something pretty huge we have to address first. And obviously that is the end of Hermitcraft Season 8, which went out in a spectacular fireball of death. So that was amazing to watch. But you guys may be wondering, am I going to be continuing with the construction of Mumbo's Season 8 base? First off, I would like to thank you guys for being so supportive and actually giving me more reasons why I should continue on with this base, because I was thinking I was going to have to convince you guys why I would have to continue building, but instead it ended up you guys convincing me. So yes, since we have already put in so much work and time and effort into this build, we will be continuing it, but a couple other reasons why I want to continue it is that there's probably going to be a little bit of a down season in between seasons. So basically there probably won't be too many Hermitcraft videos and that sort of thing, as I believe they're on a break. But even when Season 9 starts up, which I can't wait for, but when it starts up, there'll be that sort of start of game period of time where people are just trying to get resources and that sort of thing and get themselves settled. So that would also take a month probably before any hermit starts really building out their base. So I think in that time, which gives us about 2 or 3 months, we should hopefully be able to get most of the Season 8 base done. I'm hoping, fingers crossed. And now another reason that's actually very, very helpful since the Season 8 has ended, I can actually get the world download and go onto the server and actually see how everything fits together in this world. Although you guys can tell, my computer is a little bit of a crap computer, and therefore Bodum is about going at 1 frame per second. So I apologize for that poor viewing experience, but this will help me look around Mumbo's base and be able to see everything and just see how everything fits together. Even if we are traveling at 1 frame per second, it is still insane to see this absolutely massive build here in front of us. And yeah, I just absolutely can't wait to build this out of Lego. So with the help of the world download and a few new pictures that I have printed out, we should be able to easily build up Mumbo's Season 8 base. And so now I think it's time for a little bit of a tour of the work that I got done over the Christmas break. So first off, it's actually a really good reference to see the base plate that I did not bring along there, so you can kind of see how much building I did between the two. So yes, I went vertical on this base plate and just put in basically all the structure necessary up to this point up here. And so obviously this is not as tall as it's going to need to be. In fact, I think it's going to need to be about twice as tall as it currently is, so the end result of this thing is going to look quite ridiculous. So most of the work was just figuring out where everything fit and how to put things together. So one thing you guys can see here is the waterfall. I managed to build that all the way up. So this is going to be the entire height of the waterfall. I also managed to figure out where the cliffs are going to go. I have not built them yet. I kind of wish I did, but I did not have enough time. And I also worked out a few other details like this kind of gray pillar here, as well as continuing on the storage system, and I did a bunch of details in there. And now you will notice there are a few weird gaps and color changes, and that's because I am waiting for a lot of Bricklink orders. Like, I'm talking probably close to around 1,000 to 2,000 pieces that are coming in the mail, mainly because I realized that building up a mountain like this just absolutely chews through parts. So I'm ordering a ton more 2x6s, 2x4s, and all of those parts. I actually have a Bricklink order behind me that we can probably unbox in just a few moments here. So the storage system is looking good, and I have decided that for this section right up here, I'm going to be using this cool wall technique. So it uses these parts as well as some jumper plates, I believe they're called, and it creates this super cool texture for a wall, and that will be going all the way up. And then I'm hoping to add in a few lights in the top of each one of these kind of pillar areas, and that should help light up this entire storage room, and it should look really cool. And actually a lot of the work done is stuff that you don't actually see here physically, because I did a lot of planning. And one of the things that I planned slash figured out is that for the roof here, I was realizing that it was going to have some issues with support and that sort of thing. Like, we couldn't just build something out and then have that kind of cone of a roof that Mumbo has. So I decided that I think I'm going to be putting in a plate at an angle, sort of like that, and then we'll have a bunch of Technic connectors that will hold up this plate and be connected over here into the main structure. And that should both help with having all of this being supported well, and it should also help with the look. So it will have a angled roof, and it probably won't look exactly the same as Mumbo's, as he was able to play with a lot more space, and also he had Minecraft physics, which basically means no physics, but obviously here we're building in real life, so we actually have to worry about physics. And now spinning this monster of a thing all the way to the other side, here we are met with a gray wall. So this is where basically all my gray parts have gone. In my opinion, there's just something really satisfying about having a massive wall of just Lego built up. And so most of the parts in the Bricklink orders are just bricks that are colored to go in the inside, and light bluish gray bricks to go on the outside here. And now finally here, it doesn't look like I did too much work on this section here, and that is because I actually built up this entire structure to be at the same height there, and then I had to destroy it all because everything was off and misaligned, and I didn't realize that with having these snot pieces on the side here that it needed to line up with the snot technique on the other side there. So I just had a bunch of issues with that, and I had to figure it all out. And that is another reason why you guys see this kind of raising up of one plate that goes along there, because I realized that this entire kind of grass level should have been raised up by one plate, but it worked out fine with just having this kind of edge raised up, and that should also look natural, as I would think that the hill would kind of go up and then it would be a cliff. So after building all of this up, I am just getting really excited to finish this and get like kind of everything built up and covered up with like the rock work. So I think we should go ahead and try and copy over as much as I can from this side onto the other base plate that has not yet been built up yet. Although I am going to have to wait for quite a few Bricklink orders before I'm able to do that. And I think some other things that we have to do is with the waterfall mechanism, so I have to complete that as well. And so we basically just have a bunch of things to do on that side, particularly that side on the back base plate. So I'm going to go ahead and try and do most of them, and I'll bring you back when we have a couple Bricklink orders and I can unbox them for you, and then we will time lapse the rest of the work. So I'm going to try and build up as much structure as I can. Actually, before I show you that structure that has been built, we have a Bricklink order. So in this order, I believe is basically just bricks, as it is going to help us build up all of that structure on the inside. And so that's basically it. It's basically just as many bricks as I could get my hands on. So all of them are 2x4s, so that should help quite a bit with building up everything. We actually only have just a few of the light bluish gray in there, but everything else is just kind of random colors. We got some red, yellow, lime, and all sorts of other colors. It actually looks quite pretty. So now onto the structure. I have managed to get a decent portion of this actual structure done, and the majority of the work with that was actually with all of these gear systems in here, but I am happy to say that they are now completely working. So now you can see if I spin the input here, then the waterfall moves quite nicely, and you can also see that I extended the waterfall upwards there. And yes, I know this thing just broke off, but it won't be me reefing on it quite as hard when it's attached to the other thing, but it should all work nicely there. You can see it moving. And yeah, I'm quite happy with how this turned out. I fixed up a bunch of the issues. I got some of the structure and some of the connections working a lot better. And now I just can't wait to see these two absolutely massive waterfall portions just moving together. I think that will be super cool to see that. And now a fairly sizable Bricklink order did arrive, but I'm going to open it in the next episode. Hey, the box says you matter, and actually that's kind of a good thing, because I should probably say this more often, but you guys who subscribe are just absolutely amazing people, and I should probably say thank you to you more often. But yes, we will be opening up this monster of a box along with many others in the next episode, because I'm cutting it short here. And I have a couple of reasons for that. Number one being is that there hasn't been a video since last year, which really was only a couple weeks ago. And also, this video was just kind of supposed to be an update video and that sort of thing on all of the progress that I did manage to get done over the Christmas break, so I'm glad you guys got to see all of that. But the other reason is I want to wait for all of the Bricklink orders to arrive so then I can just build and not having to intermittently wait for Bricklink orders to come, and then there's pauses in building, and then I'm waiting, and then this video gets delayed and delayed. So I've decided this is just gonna be like a quick update video. And I'm also working on one more project that I'd like to show you. And that is, of course, the Lego room, which I should be hopefully finishing any day now. So I hope to see you all in the next video, where we should get a ton of the structure completed on the left side. So with that said, Gigahertz Productions, out.